You are watching the number one podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leek.
And together we are...
Row
Again, family, it is Friday, so you know what that means. Yes, Friday Night SmackDown. The show that, always, turns all of our joy, all of our happiness into absolute shit. Makes us, upset. And, it's always a great way to start the weekend, with a freaking ground in our faces.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's can we end the week legit? Can we go into the weekend feeling good? No. Because they know every Friday they got to give us, we always say that the show is bullshit. There's little tiny nuggets in that bullshit that are acceptable, but it's still bullshit.
The main pile, yeah. It's like when you eat the corn and you see the corn sticking out in the loaf.
Yeah. The corn is good, but the rest of it is bad.
But that's how it kind of is. So we're going to be talking about another SmackDown. Bush versus Ira, that seems to be cool. Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens, the situation, the rivalry keeps actually taking place. Keep developing. The Royal Rumble, we're more 1-2 weeks away from the Royal Rumble. We're going to see that on Sunday, next two Sundays. So we're going to be covering all of that. So thank you so very much, family, for being with us, for commenting, supporting us. We feel the love. We're starting to feel it, It feels good. It feels good to, be in the family of Robert. So don't forget to check this out. Jean-Paul, tell me a little bit about Kaylee Yay. She's still champion.
Yeah, it was a good main event for Ginny, had that showcase, but I think we all knew the champ was going to retain, but, some also really good matches on this show. We saw Rampage Brown go against the Bomber Dave Mastiff, and we also saw a good match with some really good character development. What's going on with Ilya Dragunov and his victory over Jack Stars, and also next week on the best show, NXT UK, we're going to see Ben Carter.
Yeah, so it's going to be really good. The only podcast that covers NXT UK right here, Jean-Paul and myself. Nobody else covers that show, and they're missing out. So good for us. And that's our win, and there's their loss.
Yep, I'll take it.
We'll always take it. And, this is what, this opens the show. I'm already, done. They tell me it's Friday night. It's about to be legit. We're going to have a good time. Few beers, friends, all about fun. No, this guy comes out. I'm already dead. My soul is absolutely crushed with this. He comes out and he says KO. He wants to send a message, Well, I'm going to tell you that KO, he's not going to be here because, of course, the main theme of the subject of this show, Paul, you're going to remember this line. Car is subject to changes. They say that throughout the whole time of the night. And then he said, well, he's not going to be here because he's a coward and all of that. So then, Roman starts talking about Adam Pearce. And then he says that, he just trying to create a lot of excuses for him not to wrestle. So he says, my neck hurts, my ankle hurts, all of that, my elbow hurts. But I like the line that he says, well, I have a lot of pain also. I've been putting a lot of work throughout these years. But my back hurts. And why it hurts? Because I've been carrying the company for all these many years, and that's why it hurts so much. So I like this. What about you?
Yeah, I like the intensity here. And at first he was being real. He's like, my shoulder hurts, my elbow hurts, my ankles have been shot since college. He played football in college, so I'm sure that's what did it. And he's, he goes all this stuff. And then, like you said, he mentions the back. And that was kind of more sarcastic, because I put all you guys on my back and carry you to success. And it's really, look at the ratings. I don't think so. But,
yes,
all jokes aside and everything, this was good intensity and good promo from Roman Reigns, and of course they found a way to just completely kill the segment when in the first half of it was gaining some good momentum, and I was going to be like, this is off to a good start, but they found a way to end that pretty quickly.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No. Adam Pearce comes out and says, whoa, this is just bad, you're just going way too much. This is way too much for you. So Roman goes to him, now I understand why you never made it to the WWE, Adam, because you're not like me. And you're never gonna be like me, so you're just never accomplished what I've accomplished throughout these 6 years that I've been on the top and all of that. So Heyman gets in, interferes. He gets the microphone and she just says, what, I think that you're disrespecting Roman. So for that reason, I know this family, I know the tribal chief. He goes through all the same shtick that they always say. So he says that he's gonna actually. Roman is going to kick his ass, He's going to, kick Adam Pearce. And then he says, well, no, you know what? Let's do it more fun. it says that, what about you and me have a match, tonight? And it's in the state of Florida. You can actually have this, like, verbal agreements are absolutely true, so you can follow through. So, like, they agreed to have a match because Adam goes, well, like, I don't care about Roman's intimidation, but, like, I'm not going to take yours. So, like, they get a match. And this, to me, that was, like, the worst part of the show.
Yeah, that was
the main event like this. I don't want to hear it.
Because it's like Adam Pearce, this to me, I'm like, okay, they could be setting up for something legit. And maybe Adam doesn't want to wrestle. Maybe, like, legit, if you asked him, behind the camera, no, I'm good. I don't need to wrestle again. Like, it's fine. But I was really hoping they would have set something up here for, like, a triple threat. Like, oh, okay, you call Kevin Owens bullshit. You say you beat him all these times, and that, like, oh, I'm not doing Kevin Owens a favor because I'm putting him in a rematch with you, and you're just gonna destroy him again, and all this other stuff Roman was saying. It's like, well, no, it's like, I'm not doing him a favor because I'm making the match harder for him to win because I'm gonna be in here too, and just mix it up, do something with it. I mean, maybe a triple threat last man standing would be a little weird. I don't know if one of those have ever happened before, but, I don't know. I think that would have been better than wrestling Paul Heyman.
Oh, yeah, like, they always find ways, like you said. You just said it the best. They always find ways to make you guys
especially after that, especially when he said the line, like, oh, that's why you were never good enough to make it to WWE. Like, he didn't just attack him, like, I don't know, to be like, oh, I could kick your ass physically or whatever. He attacked, like, his pride and, like, probably his dream and all that stuff. So it's like, he just accepted it. He's like, yep.
And a subtle shot, to indie scene, a lot of all those guys that, like, are trying their best to make it to the WWE. So, like you said, really cool stuff, like, in the lining, but, like, what it develops from, like, what you're creating, it just turns out to be really crappy. So that was the first segment. Like you said, Killer, like, it's Friday night, guys. So, like, let's remember, can you give us something good? No. We're never going to do that for you guys. Never. I mean, the tag champions. Doesn't it hurt you, Paul, that, like, Asuka is the Raw Women's Champion and she has not had a feud since November or even October? She has not defended her championship to somebody that is actually worthy of defending it.
I can't even tell you who the last woman she feuded with. I think it was Nia Jax.
Yeah.
This match wasn't for the belt, correct?
No, it was a non-title, yes.
Yeah, it was, and this was, I believe, the second time, and this was going years back, maybe 2 years or so, when the Riot Squad challenged for the belts on Raw. They had a match. Or maybe that was the Iconics. But anyway, Billie Kay's there, so it don't matter. But after this match was over, I remembered that Ruby Riott, that's the name I couldn't think of. Ruby Riott, she was like, oh, you cost us the titles tonight. And I'm like, was this a title match? I didn't think so. But, anyway, back to this match. I mean, yeah, it's pathetic they don't do anything with Asuka. And seeing this match, seeing it was non-title and Billie Kay was coming out with them, I'm like, this, they're not presenting this team in a legit manner, and I think they're the only legit tag team in this entire main roster women's division. So, I wasn't looking forward to this because I knew who was going to win. Now, there were some good spots, like Billie Kay. I'm not Billie Kay. She was, awful, but Liv Morgan was really good. She looked good against Charlotte, and she looked good in there. They presented them, and they looked strong. It was obviously just Billie Kay, distracting, when Ruby Riott had Asuka pinned and all this stuff. And then obviously, I believe, who was it? Charlotte hit natural selection.
Well, it was a really nice spinning combination. It was just the code breaker, and then because of she bounces, she gets exposed. So right away, Charlotte tagged in, and then she did the natural selection, and then they get the win, the 1, 2, 3. But like you said, the whole story is just like Billie Kay's costing matches to like the Riot Squad, to Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott. So like she's been a pain. She's a constant pain instead of like being a solution. She's actually costing matches. So like you said, after the match, they had like a Billie Kay's like, I'm sorry, I apologize. Sorry, girls, I got you 2 spots, 2 entries on the Royal Rumble, so that should make it up for you guys, right? And they're like, no, you're not part of the team. We were better off when it was just, myself and Liv. So it's like, you're not part of our team. So done. So here you go, girl. Whatever. Come here. So that was it. So, I mean, we get to see the tag champs. Yeah, that's cool. But, like, isn't, like, the better idea to have the Raw Women's Champion fighting for something better than the title? You said it the best.
Yeah.
These titles need to be on people that don't have any singles title.
Yeah. The whole women's division on the main roster is a complete mess. Some things are like okay, but I feel the last time like it felt legit was, when Bayley and Sasha were carrying it. Now, they're kind of doing their own separate things, and To be honest, neither of them are very good. And also a thing to make note, which was the theme of this show before this match took place, the once great Liberator, he was out, free Sami Zayn, justice for Sami Zayn, yeah, all this stuff. And, he was essentially like doing the Occupy Raw, but this is Occupy SmackDown, because he feels, he was cheated out of his Intercontinental Championship.
Yes, so. and also Paul, like, he handcuffed himself. He's like right there, justice for Roadbreak, subscribe to Roadbreak. Everybody that, doesn't want to do it, please do so. So I like this, but at the same time, I feel that there's a little bit of reality into this. So I like it even more because, like, yeah, he probably feels cheated out throughout his career. He's never won anything.
I mean, I get that and I understand it, but, like, in reality, when you look at it, it's like they're just portraying him like a joke.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what sucks, because it's like, I just think about, that so legit match he had with Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, and then it's just, now look at him.
Yeah, now it's not anything. I agree with you.
And you make him SmackDown needs a lot. They need heels, they need baby faces, they need everything. But, like, Sami Zayn is such a talent, and you're just wasting him on this show that, what did I say to you before we started recording? They have no stars. This show doesn't feel special. It feels like everybody on here is like a loser.
It is a show that, like I said, is the worst show in the WWE. And, even to say that in comparison to Monday Night Raw, it sucks even more because this show has one less hour.
I bet you 205 Live is better. If we would watch this and then watch 205 Live right after, we'd probably enjoy that more.
205 Live and, have, like, Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher, that they're actually a tag team going against Tony Nese, like for, like, the Dusty Classic. So that's what we should do next time. But there you go. This is the best part of the show. Daniel Bryan came out. He was cutting a promo. He said, the one thing I never won yet is the Royal Rumble. And then we're about to start, like, one of the best parts of the year for WWE, for wrestling itself, is the beginning of WrestleMania, the beginning of that road that starts in the Royal Rumble. I never won that. So Cesaro comes out, and this is all Daniel Bryan. Like, there was a report that says he's the one that, like, is booking this. He has a lot of input, a lot of his influences on this, and he's actually helping out Cesaro. So that speaks volumes about Daniel Bryan, that the fact he has no ego, and he can just be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to push my guys, guys that deserve an opportunity. So Cesaro says, you know what? I'm going to fight anybody that, wants to come out and have a match with me, legit. And, we get our boy, Dolph, comes out. His brother, did you hear that, Paul, in the reports? His brother is going to debut on AEW Dynamite next week, and he's going to go against Hangman and Page. So,
no, I did. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's going to have, his brother's going to debut, like, in AEW Dynamite, so Dolph is like, no, it doesn't matter, my bro. He's going to be a jobber like me, so he's good. He kind of followed our family footsteps. So he said, you know what? I'm going to win the Royal Rumble. I'm going to go WrestleMania. A theme that he says that every single Rumble. And in the end, he comes out number 30. He gets eliminated in like 5 seconds after that. So
I love how he's like, oh, yeah, I can last in the Rumble. I got stamina. I can go all night long, if you know what I mean. And I'm like, yeah, I bet the ladies do.
Yeah, I bet like Sonny can say that because Sonny was one of that. So like, yeah, you're right. You're right. So like, but like the match itself, they had a match, good match though. I really like that. Pretty good bout. Cesaro swing. Dolph again. All joking aside, Dolph is a great wrestler, and Cesaro like even better than Dolph. So like,
I love the shot of this because Daniel Bryan was on commentary, and he was actually decent on commentary considering he's with Cole and Graves. But I like before this match when he's like, oh yeah, because Daniel Bryan was like, oh, Cesaro, let's wrestle. And then Ziggler was like, no, we're going to wrestle. And I love when he says to Daniel Bryan, he's like, yeah, like, let me wrestle him. He's like, this isn't 2014, Daniel. No offense, but, you're not as good as you used to be. And I like that line because maybe you're going to see, which, I mean, would be bullshit because he's the tag champ, but maybe a Ziggler-Daniel Bryan feud. I don't know what they're going to, maybe just to do something with these guys because they're not doing anything with them.
Oh, no, yeah.
They're literally just like Daniel Bryan, like all these guys, they just come out. Now, maybe that's the feud, Daniel Bryan, Cesaro. I mean, that would also be legit, but who knows?
Well, remember Kurt Angle was praising like the match that they had.
Yes.
Like, so that was good, but like in the end, didn't you love that combination with the neutralizer? Dolph like popped up, and then like I see he was trying to go for like a Hurricane or something, but then Cesaro like flip it, and then he did the neutralizer into that. He gets the 1, 2, 3, and Cesaro like another week he gets momentum. Hopefully something good for Cesaro. He deserves it. That's one of the guys that, if he will make it to champion, he will be one of the biggest pops ever because deep down, every single wrestling fan believes and knows that like he can be a world champion. So
and Cesaro, I mean, to me, the best thing for him right now would be to just eventually beat Big E. I think Big E, he's going to get through this feud with Sami Zayn, with Apollo Crews, all that. Do that. Boom. Cesaro's a good heel. Big E's a babyface. That makes the most sense. Now, I would love to see him be WWE champ, but realistically, if they do that, that's going to be like Kane's first title reign. He's going to win it at a pay-per-view, and then come Friday, he's going to lose it.
One stunner and done, right?
Yeah, exactly.
One stunner and done. Yeah, from Kevin Owens this time, and done. Yeah, so let us move on to the next part, Paul. There you go. Sasha Banks against Reginald. We have an intergender match. That's different. But at least, like the interactions between them, it was okay because, they were kind of like training. Didn't you feel like, like, for example, a guy is like with a girl just like going through moves and stuff, because there was a lot of arm drags and all of that. So I kind of like that. And, the boss always looks good. She was laughing at Sami Zayn when Sami Zayn was still handcuffed, for the ones that remember that, are paying attention to this. So what did you think of this? I like that. I like the match a little bit. Right there, boom.
Yeah, Reginald is definitely like athletic. Like all the flips, she'd try to do something, and he would instead of just being flipped, he would land on his feet and everything. It is athletic, but the whole match is a joke, and it's like, okay, they're having a rematch. The first match they had, it was pretty legit, I will say, and but Sasha won, so I'm like, okay, it's done. Now they're dragging this feud on, and I don't know. Is Carmella going to win at the Royal Rumble? And is that to set up maybe Bianca wins? Bianca goes after her. Is that going to be a WrestleMania match? To me, that's garbage. To me, that is not. That's one that I go. That's when I go order the pizza. That's when I go do some juice. You know what I mean? Me, Riddle, and RVD. But that's right. This is I don't know. The best thing about this segment to me was what Carmella was wearing. How she looked wearing it.
Look at the hand of Reginald right there. Yeah, he's grabbing some cake. That's legit. That's good for him. Yeah, right there.
Some Mandalorian cake. But yeah, this was okay. But she gets the bank statement. He taps, and it's like that's. Who cares? Let's be honest with this. It's like, okay, yeah, the guy's athletic. There's hundreds of thousands of athletic people. Like, who cares? This should be a professional wrestling show that's presenting legit stuff, not this bullshit where she's beating up somebody's sommelier.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah, he's playing as an assistant instead of having interactions, beating the person, the number one contender, so to say. So I agree with you. So for what it was, if I think about it as a training thing, okay, whatever. But like that, it wasn't that good. So let's go with Tribal Chief one more time. He's Heyman is I see what I did. He's kind of trying to get some assurance from Roman. Hey, you see what I did? Hey, I took the mic. I got this match. It was a great idea, right? And Roman's I didn't want you to do this. He's so I didn't want you to do this for me. What the hell are you talking about? No, you should have never do this. I hired you because in the microphone, you're the best man in the world. You can probably crush anybody with your words. But it's now you actually got yourself into a match. So now you got to fight because also I hire a man. I hire a man as my assistant and the person that is going to handle my business. So now is you. And then he just goes away. And then you see the face of Paul Heyman. So
yeah, I like that.
You don't go by yourself, right there.
Yeah, I like that because you got to think what Roman said. There's legit everybody who walks with me and is in my circle is legit. And if you're not, you're gonna talk trash and then you're gonna puss out.
Bail, yeah.
I don't want. He's I don't want that. But obviously we knew because you said what was the theme of the show. Cards subject to change. Yeah, so we knew that Heyman wasn't going to wrestle. I was thinking, to be honest, already at this point, actually earlier in the show, I'm it's going to be Jey Uso. I really thought it was going to be Jey.
I was just thinking, what time is ding, 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 ding. I was just hoping for that. Yeah, you're right. So it's cool they play out with us, but in the end we knew that this was going to happen. So let's go to Intercontinental Championship match. I was hoping for a title change, Paul. I don't know what the hell happened. I was remember the meeting that he had with Roman. Everybody was praising out that meeting. Everybody was saying that Roman put over Apollo Crews just because he was sitting by him. I didn't know that Roman all of a sudden is Jesus. That you sit with him, and
it's not the second coming; it's the third coming this time.
Yeah, I didn't know that you just start Holly if you just do that. But this match was absolute garbage. I will tell you that from the get go. Why? Because there was he was trying to get some offense. He was trying to get the upper hand, but Big E is starting to dodging some moves, and then he goes, this is how you got to do it. You got to respect me. You got to respect me. So all of a sudden, then you just see Sammy unleashing uncovering himself. I'm ready to be legit. Cuba is going to be liberated.
Here we go.
Yep, it's time for Cuba to like research, and then Sammy delivered 2 haluva kicks, and on to like one to Apollo Crews, one to Big E, disqualification. So I'm thinking, Mr. Eck, I'm thinking that it's going to be a triple threat at the Royal Rumble. What do you think?
I mean, I would be fine with that, and even if they want to give Sammy the title, like let's say he pins Apollo, and then you want to do what I said about Cesaro, holding it from Sunday to Friday, but do it with Sami Zayn and then give it to Cesaro. I think just give him the belt right away. Just I mean, it's because they present Sami Zayn as a joke. If he would win it on Sunday, he's not going to have another legit title reign.
Oh no,
it's going to be a joke. So I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they'll do. It'll probably be a triple threat, and they'll have Sami Zayn in there to eat the pin. Big E will pin him, so Apollo is protected, and the feud is over now with Sami Zayn since he got pinned again. And then
that would be so trash.
But I mean, the only thing I really liked is when he did the haluva kicks and it was a DQ and it ended the match, because I didn't really care about this because I knew there wasn't going to be a title change. And I love how Michael Cole goes, "Oh, I can't believe Sami Zayn ruined such a good match." I'm like, thank God he did.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, well, Michael Cole, the way he sees matches and the way we see matches, completely different, 2 stories, different points of views right there. So let's go to Kevin Owens. Like, he was outside of the building. He's like, hey, I couldn't make it there because like Roman moved some strings, but I'm sorry about that. He says, well, Roman, every time that like we have a match, you haven't win on your own. You get Jey Uso, you get Paul Heyman, everybody's like helping you out, and you fight for your family, but like I also fight for my own family, and he showed his knuckles, and then he's like, I have tattoos like on both of my grandparents. I remember the one was Pierre, the other one was an M. I don't remember the other name, but he said like, hey, I have them with me because they never saw me wrestle, they never see me make it into the WWE, but it doesn't matter because they go with me every single time, and now I'm with them, I'm going to be victorious, and at the Royal Rumble, I'm going to be the last guy, the last man standing. So I will say good promo by Kevin Owens. Like, his intensity, when he wants to be legit, Kevin Owens is one of the best. I think that.
Yeah, I really liked his promo, and like you said last week, I did not pop when Adam Pearce, had his music and he came out. I was like, why do I want to see this again? I don't care. But I mean, this promo, it made it, it made me feel a little more invested in it. I was like, okay, I mean, I always want to see Kevin Owens win. I'm never going to say, oh no, I want to see Roman beat him. But it's just, when you keep giving me the same match, it's like the boy who cried wolf. Oh, you might believe it the first time, the second time, but he keeps crying wolf by the third time. You're like, yeah, I don't believe it.
Yeah, and nobody cares. Exactly.
Yeah, you're like,
why would you do that? Right there, really quick. This is like what we have for the Royal Rumble. The participants are as of now, and then we have like a few surprises. They saying that like 2 former like WWE stars, one girl and one woman, are going to be like the ones coming back. So made a big pop.
Wait, you said one girl and one woman. That's
one girl and one guy. My bad. One girl and one guy. Supposedly 2 former WWE champions. That was the report, and they're going to be coming back. So like they're going to be the biggest pops of the night. Also, Shinsuke Nakamura not in consideration for like a WWE WrestleMania title match with Roman Reigns. That's why you see him in the Royal Rumble right there. So like that actually breaks my heart because Nakamura like get his music back, his baby face, all of that. But I guess he's not in consideration anymore. So that really sucks for like our good friend Nakamura.
Yeah, I mean, he was never gonna beat Roman. It is what it is. It's a shame because WWE did just put on their Facebook and probably on YouTube the highlights of the Rumble where he won and everything. Beating Roman and all that stuff. I love the final 4 of that Rumble. Him, yes. Roman, Cena, and Finn Balor. I mean, that was badass. But
that was a good Rumble.
I mean, that was good. And isn't it funny how him and his the other Royal Rumble winner that year, Asuka, both lost.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. They're both done. Yeah, there you go. What do you think about this? Like, some friendships are renewed right there. Some friendships are renewed. Like, we got to see Sonya Deville. He's like the assistant of Adam Pearce, and she was pretty much running the show because Adam was preparing for his match with Paul Heyman. So we see like, his man did still talk to you, kind of like he's trying to get that number yet. So we got to see Sonya there, and then we got to see the Street Profits. I like the whole thing that Sonya said about them because they're like, hey, we lost our titles. It's been 2 weeks that the Profits don't have the tag team belts. However, it's going to be a rematch. And she's like, whoa, like, I guess Montez Ford is injured. I don't know if it is legit injured or just storyline injured. But he's like, well, you know what? Well, you'll have your rematch. But for the now, do your thing, your funny thing. So I like that. do your funny like sayings, whatever. Hype SmackDown. That's what she said. And then once you're ready, yeah, we'll talk about our rematch. So I like that role that Sonya Deville is playing. I really like this. I don't know what you felt, but I really like this.
Yeah, I like this, and I mean, I'm not comparing the two women like like their character, like who they are as a person, but it reminds me almost like when Paige was on SmackDown.
Yes.
And was kind of like, she was the general manager.
Yes.
Because I would say Adam Pearce isn't really a general manager. He's just kind of like a WWE executive. So maybe she could be the general manager. It's like, the general manager answers to the executive. I don't know, but I mean, I like this role though. If you're not, because they're doing the kayfabe storyline. Oh, she was what was the loser leaves town, so she's not a wrestler, but she's returning as an executive or a GM or assistant to the executive, whatever. Yeah. So I mean, I like this, but I hope to see her back in the actual. Maybe she'll be in the Rumble. I think that would be cool. I mean, that might be short lived as an executive, but. I mean, we'll see, but I mean, I hope she does wrestle though at some point.
Yeah, no, I think she needs to come back. So yeah, we'll hopefully but at least I like her role and like the way she addressed the Street Profits. Absolutely great. But let's go to this. This didn't even make sense. Like this rivalry could have been so good. This rivalry could have had like enhance, elevate both women. Bayley's such great. Bianca needed a girl like Bayley to get to that top like main event status, and this is not making it. This is not doing any favors to neither one of them. The obstacle course challenge right here, both girls right there. So like they're gonna be two different types of like obstacles, throughout the ring. And I'm like, come on, can you just record this somewhere else? No, they didn't do that. Chad Gable was like one of the guys that was going to be like the referees or assuring that everything was legit, right?
I mean, he was part of this. Essentially, just to run through this, because this was an awful segment. It's just, Bayley thought of the obstacle course, and it was like, you got to flip this 400-pound tire once. Then you got to like do the, run through this little like step in the squares, kind of like run through them. Then there was these boards you had to climb over. And then, like you see in this picture, just do like a fireman's carry to Chad Gable, shoot a basketball through a hoop, and then that was the end of it. But Bayley did the first two. She saw the boards and was like, I'm just going to run around them instead of running over them. Maybe she couldn't get all that cake over the board. I don't blame her. But then, she picked up Gable, whatever, shot the basket. I believe it was a minute and 12 or a minute.
Yep.
Yeah, a minute
and 12. Right there, yep.
Mm-hmm. So then it's like, okay, that was her time. And she's like, Bianca, since you're the EST, you're the best, whatever. I made the obstacle course, fitting for you. So she added, hurdles instead of having to just like, jog through the little squares on the floor. It was hurdles, and the boards were still there. But so she hurdles them because she was a track and field star. She climbs the boards, no problem. Gable's there, and he's like, okay, well, no, you got to do something else. And then, Otis comes out, she picks up Otis, and you see at this time she already has 31 seconds left to just carry Otis and shoot the basket, and she does just that with 17 seconds to spare, and Bayley's all like, and she's all pissed off, and it's like, what did we say last week? Bianca's not going to lose this. Like, what? This is just done to make Bayley look like an idiot. And yeah, she's a heel, but she looked so good as a heel with the feud with Sasha and everything like that. She wasn't a dumb heel like The Miz. They're essentially making her a heel like The Miz, like a dumb idiot heel. And then when they lose, they're like they just look like a clown.
Yeah, I just think that like Bayley's losing a lot of credibility. And
it's not her fault though. I feel like she's doing the best with what they're making her do, but it's not very good with what they're making her do.
Oh no, like you said, and then she attacked him, and she throw the ball at her, and then she start beating her up. Like a lot of things, but like the feud, when is it going to culminate? When is it going to end? What is this?
I think either in the Royal Rumble or maybe if SmackDown gets Elimination Chamber. I don't know how they're going to do that. Like, who's going to be in it? Is it the women on SmackDown, women on Raw? Is it women on both? I don't know, but maybe they'll be the final two in the Elimination Chamber or something. Who knows? But I think the feud, it's got to end at some point.
Yes, I agree with you. So, Paul, let's move on to the Jefe. Hey, Jefe, I got it. Remember, Jefe Paul, Jefe Paul, I got it. I know how to beat Corbin. You just trust me. I got it. All right. Well, mijo. Yeah. Like, remember, like, if you lose, next time it will be under my terms. You understand?
Don't you love Rey Mysterio's voice?
Oh yeah, mijo. Yeah, I got it.
It
Yeah.
sounds like he either ate sand and smoked cigarettes his whole life.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. And like so, like that was like the idea of the match, right? Like he says, "Well, Jefe, I got it."
And how, I mean, not that everything with Seth Rollins was good. There was some good points in there and some good matches, but it's like, man, the Mysterios fell off. I mean,
Oh
it
my
was like, they were like legit. We said Dominic, all these awesome matches, definitely rookie of the year. The storyline with Aaliyah and Murphy, while it wasn't the greatest, was at least, hey, it got your attention.
it was
You know
bearable.
what I mean? And then
Yeah.
it's like, now we don't see Murphy, we don't see Aaliyah, we don't see the wife. And then
Nope.
when we finally do see the Mysterios, Rey Mysterio, a legend, they're involved in a feud with Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, this match was really quick. It didn't do anything for Dominic. It essentially, you kind of saw the dissension maybe in the Mysterio starting to be planted, where Rey, is going to be overbearing on his son, trying to micromanage him, and then maybe Dominic gets pissed off, and I don't know what they're going to do, but Corbin wins pretty quickly here because of Dominic's kind of aggression. He tried to throw hands with Corbin and everything, and Corbin just threw a big punch, knocked him out, end of days,
And
done. And it's like, it was like I said, pretty quick. It wasn't like Dominic looked good like in his matches with Rollins and Murphy. So I don't know what they're doing.
yes, and like they do. All I see two things is like I heard like in social media they were saying like Corbin is, instead of being a baron, he should be a wizard, a magician, because like he found a way to like disappear Murphy. Like and the other two guys that they were like the bodyguards. Remember? Like,
Oh yeah, the other two, the forgotten.
like,
Hey, wait,
whatever
who
he
were
touched,
they?
they disappear. Yeah.
They're the Forgotten Sons, remember?
Yeah.
So that's why they were
Yeah,
forgotten.
yeah, they always get forgotten. Yeah,
And that's funny because one of them is Wesley Blake, who was Buddy Murphy's old tag team partner in NXT when they had Alexa Bliss. So
yes.
it's all coming together now.
It's all coming in a big circle. And also like the one thing is like there was a report poll that like they were saying that like Rey is gonna eliminate Dominic at the Rumble. So I suppose that's gonna create a feud, and then the feud that like you always dream of, like there's for WrestleMania that was gonna hand the mask to Dominic, might happen, because supposedly that's going to create a big dissension at the Rumble. Either Dominic eliminates Mysterio, or like dad son, or son dad. But one of them is going to eliminate.
I would have Dominic eliminate Rey. I would have it like they eliminate, like maybe Corbin's in there. They both throw Corbin out, and they're like, Don. He's like, oh, like son, and then he's like, screw you, dad.
Yeah. I will do the same with my own father, so that's fine. I'll eliminate him, and I will be like, that's right. So let's go to the main event, family, right there. Adam Pearce going against Paul Heyman. This, of course, like Paul already mentioned, it wasn't going to be a match. And in the same fashion that Adam Pearce acted last week, we get to see Paul Heyman. He's trying to go to the ring, and so I fell. So we got to call accident report, if you're working for any company. You got to call the call center, get somebody like to help. Got to do a drug test. None of that. He just said, what? The car is substitutes to like change. We said that was the main theme of the whole show. So Big Dog comes out, and then he starts beating up like Adam Pearce. At least, Adam Pearce was like in ring attire, semi, at least, naked, like ready to go. But like he gets the Superman punch, he gets his ass kicked, he's being really beaten up by Roman, and of course Roman at least also, like it seemed like a brawl, okay? But like then for Paul's aid right there, Kevin Owens shows up, and at least finally out of like this whole like 2.5 months that we've seen this rivalry take place, he got the upper hand really good. He got a Roman pretty good. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, this was good. He definitely surprised him, but if I just want to see for my own personal gain, and because I'm a fan, I want to see Adam Pearce wrestle.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, like let me see him do a little something against Roman. At least I know there wasn't much time left in the show, but because Roman hit a Superman punch right away, and then he didn't go for the pin. He was like, oh, I'm going to throw him around, I'm going to be bullshit, all this stuff. And it should have been Adam Pearce fought back from that and got some moves in and was maybe setting up, always setting up for the finisher, the signature or whatever. And then Roman dodges it, hits a spear, and is like, okay, now I'm in control again. And that's when you bring out Owens.
Yeah, well,
at least let Adam Pearce do a little bit something, but no, I mean, but this was good though, like you said. For what they did though, I liked how Owens looked dominant, and I like how this isn't the go home show. So because if it was, that would guarantee Owens is going to lose at the Royal Rumble. There's still another SmackDown, so hopefully, we see Jey Uso and all them beat the shit out of Kevin Owens. Set it up that. I mean, hey, if you're gonna do excuse me, I can't even think here. If you're gonna give the title to Kevin Owens, you got to do it now.
Yes.
Because if he loses again, it's like like I said, how many times can we see this match? Because it's like the last straw.
This is like it will be what, like 3 or 4 times that we've seen him fighting for that title. So like he needs to win.
Well, yeah. What was the pay per view? Was it Extreme Rules or what was it? TLC. Then they had the match on SmackDown.
Yeah, and now this one.
And this is the third.
Yeah, so like it's the 3 or like at least So in these needs to happen. If it doesn't happen there, it's never going. It's like Piper Niven. Kevin Owens will be with Piper Niven too. Just never wins anything, and they're just going to be in the Thunderdome. So we'll see Kevin Owens in the Thunderdome, just like, oh, hey, I'm watching the match. It's good, okay, like stuff like that. So it doesn't make any sense, but at least this picture is what closes the show, so I'm good with it. Big pop-up powerbomb Roman. So finally he got a little bit of something. It's when you go out to that girl, you get a little bit of it. At least it's not a big picture, but at least you got something. So family, I think this closes up for SmackDown. A show that, like Jean Paul always says, and I also mentioned this, if it would be on a Tuesday, I wouldn't be as pissed off. I wouldn't be as, like disappointed, as heartbroken. But, if it is on a Friday, that always leaves me that bitter taste in my mouth. So I need to go get some, like mouthwash so I can actually get the bad taste of my mouth. I think I'm going to be, right now I feel like Marvez. Like my bread is like those like rats and like having an orgy or something like that. Thanks to Roman and Kevin Owens. So family, thank you so very much for your support, your comments, everything. We'll be back next week. We have a lot of coverage, Royal Rumble. So don't forget, do us this big favor, subscribe, hit that bell for all notifications. Every day we're putting content for you. And where else can they find us, Paul?
Yep, and then make sure you also follow us on Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, the original Rope Break on Instagram, and of course, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the original Rope Break.
Thank you, family, and we'll see you next week. You and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...